Coronation Street airs Will Driscoll's emotional exit tonight, after he agreed to move to Scotland with his mum Melanie. But unbeknownst to his family, the teenager is actually planning to flee to France with groomer Megan Walsh. Will they discover the truth before it's too late? The episode opens with a concerned Ben Driscoll realizing he had left the pub safe open the night before, following an argument with Sean Tully. As he counts the money, he discovers £2,000 is missing and starts to doubt his employee. Meanwhile, Will has a secret meeting with Megan, revealing that he was the one who stole the money from the safe. The sports coach is shocked when she learns how much he took, but Will insists they need the money to begin their new life abroad. They think I'm going to Scotland, okay? So by the time they figure it out, you and I will be in France, eating croissants in bed, he explains. Back at the pub, Eva refuses to believe Sean could have stolen from them, and gently asks Will if he's responsible. Having handed the cash over to Megan, Will acts affronted and performatively empties his bag over the table to prove his innocence. Eva is left with no choice but to broach the topic with Sean, who is equally offended by the accusation, and things get even more heated when Ben arrives to question the barman. In the back room, Ben and Steve have an honest chat about the argument with Sean. Ben admits that he's stressed about Will and keeps expecting Megan to turn up and whisk him away, not knowing how right he is. When he shares that he's dreading dropping Will off to the train station, Steve offers Tim's services instead. Steve gives his new half-brother a pep talk, and Ben later apologizes to Sean. Later, as Will gathers his things, Ben takes the opportunity to ask if Megan is back on the scene, which the teen continues to deny. The pair then share an emotional goodbye on the street. Before Will gets into Tim's cab. The car pulls away. Will checks his train booking on his phone, confirming he is heading to the airport. But in upcoming scenes, viewers will see him having a change of heart, after an important conversation with Tim. The Cobbles said goodbye to another familiar face as Will Driscoll's heartbreaking exit unfolded in an emotional early ITVX release of Coronation Street, and fans were left completely stunned by the dramatic twist. For weeks, viewers had watched Will spiral deeper into emotional turmoil following the explosive revelations surrounding Megan Walsh. The teenager had become trapped in a dangerous situation that shook Weatherfield to its core, and despite desperate attempts from his family to protect him, the damage had already been done. At first, it seemed like Will's departure would be a hopeful fresh start. His devastated family believed he was heading to Scotland to stay with his mum and finally escape the chaos consuming his life. The goodbye scenes were emotional enough to break longtime fans. Ben struggled to hold himself together, Eva tried to remain positive, and even Tim sensed that something about Will felt painfully fragile, but underneath the tearful farewell was a shocking secret. Unknown to the Driscolls, Will had been planning something far more dangerous. In scenes packed with tension, it was revealed that he had secretly stolen £2,000 from the Rovers' safe and handed the money to Megan so they could flee abroad together. The moment Will quietly climbed into Tim's cab felt symbolic, a boy trying to leave behind trauma, guilt, and suspicion all at once. Yet as the taxi pulled away from the street, viewers discovered he had no intention of going to Scotland at all. Instead, he secretly booked flights to Paris, preparing to vanish with Megan before anyone could stop them. The twist transformed an emotional goodbye into something far darker. What made the episode especially heartbreaking was how desperately Will wanted to believe he was escaping to a better future. Throughout the storyline, he had become increasingly isolated and manipulated, struggling to process the abuse and public scandal surrounding Megan. Even when people around him tried to help, Will remained emotionally tied to the very person who had caused so much destruction. That inner conflict was written all over his final scenes. As Tim drove him away from Weatherfield, there was a lingering sadness in Will's face, almost as if he knew deep down that he was making the wrong decision but couldn't stop himself. Fans online quickly reacted to the episode, calling it one of the soap's most tragic exits in recent months. The storyline has also sparked huge debate among viewers because of how realistically it portrayed manipulation and emotional dependency. Rather than showing Will as simply running away, the soap focused on how vulnerable and confused he had become after months of grooming and emotional pressure. And while the episode marked Will Driscoll's exit from Weatherfield for now, the drama may be far from over. The final moments heavily hinted that his plan could unravel before he truly disappears. Tim began growing suspicious after travel plans didn't add up. while others on the street started noticing cracks in Will's story. That lingering uncertainty left fans asking one major question: will escape successfully? Or is this only the beginning of an even bigger disaster? Either way, the episode delivered classic Coronation Street drama, emotional family conflict, shocking secrets, and a devastating farewell wrapped in tension. Will's exit didn't feel triumphant or hopeful. It felt tragic. A young man running toward uncertainty because he no longer knew who to trust, and that's exactly why the storyline hits so hard. For Ben and the rest of the Driscolls, the pain of believing they had helped Will move on peacefully will become even more crushing if the truth finally comes out. The stolen money, the lies, and Megan's continued influence threaten to destroy any chance of closure. Meanwhile, fans are already speculating whether this really is the end for Will Driscoll or if Coronation Street is setting up a dramatic return later in the year. Soap history has proven that characters who leave under mysterious circumstances rarely stay gone forever. One thing is certain: Weatherfield won't forget Will Driscoll anytime soon. His emotional exit leaves behind unanswered questions, broken trust, and a family devastated by everything they failed to see before it was too late. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Crown ST.